Hey everybody, this is Jim.
And this is Mike.
Mike is with me today, and we are on show 43.
Yay!
Our main topic is bands that make us laugh. And yes, we did volume 1.
Yes.
And this is volume 2. I won't go into specifics, but we lost one of them, so we're basically redoing this one.
Like when something's lost at sea, lost in a fire, it ain't never coming back.
Yeah. Like you're on a computer, it's gone, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could have gone to the Geek Squad to retrieve it.
Mm-hmm. So, Jim, today we're looking at a variety of things coming up. The main event is bands that make us laugh.
Yes.
And make us think, quirky bands. Yeah.
And we got a lot to talk about before that. We're going to start with music news, a couple stories. We got albums that are turning 50 in May. I think what month it was. We're going to talk about a couple new albums coming out and some new music TV shows. And then we're doing a top 10. The top 10 songs from 1983.
Yeah. Now, why 83? It's kind of random. I remember what I was doing in 83, but it's 50 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Is it 50?
No, it's 40.
40. 40 years ago. No, I'm just wondering why you chose 83, yeah.
Before my time, but no, I'm just kidding. So we're going to start off with some music news stories I found that I thought were interesting. First one is Owen Wilson, the actor. Do you know who Owen?
Oh yeah. Mr. No, never mind.
He was in the Wedding Crashers. I don't know. He's been in a lot of comedies.
I was thinking Mr. Shroot, but that's the wrong Wilson.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, and I got new technology here. If anyone cares, I'm using my tablet. Of course, I got ads coming up here. So Owen Wilson. Now, first of all, Mike, did you know that the Rolling Stones, they give out lifetime passes to people?
Did not know that.
You know,
wait, to the backstage area, or you mean the concerts?
Yeah, backstage.
Okay.
They can go to any concert they want.
Wow.
But I guess they don't really. If you're backstage, you're not during the concert. You're not really sitting. But and not normal people like us.
Yeah.
Unless the podcast gets huge. You never know.
More than 10 listeners. Yeah. If we hit that. Yeah.
Mick Jagger calls us up. Hey mate.
Hey mate.
Want a lifetime pass? Sure. So anyway, Owen Wilson lost his lifetime pass.
What did he do?
It says the Paint star, I guess that's a new movie he's in, revealed that he was once awarded a lifetime pass that allowed him to attend any Rolling Stones gig in the world.
Wow.
And it was only to be rescinded after he accidentally walked on stage during one of the legendary rock group's concerts in Argentina.
You don't accidentally walk on stage. So he went on stage.
Yeah. He said, I was kind of friendly with some of the band, and then my friend was really good friends with Mick Jagger. We got presented with these special laminates, kind of all access, that were good for the rest of our life. And he said it was really exciting for him because the first live show he ever attended was one from the Rolling Stones' Tattoo You tour in 1980.
Wow.
That night at the concert, he says, I'm kind of wandering around, testing it out. Like, I'm going to walk over here and see if anybody stops me.
Owen!
Get back here. And no one would stop me any place. He went.
Wow. No one yelled for Owen.
So he said, I ended up right at this place where I could look over and see Mick Jagger on the stage. And right there, and then all of a sudden he bolts during Jumpin' Jack Flash, and he comes running down. Now, this is during the show.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger ended up sprinting directly towards him and completely flabbergasted Wilson. You don't hear that word very often.
The F word.
So it turns out, he said where I was kind of part of a stage.
Yeah, he was in the way.
Yeah. He said I sort of froze, tried to be inconspicuous, and he kind of came down and left. Someone came running over. Get out of here! Move! You're not supposed to be here!
Oh, man!
He said, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. This kind of haunted him for the rest of the evening. He said, I go to bed that night still thinking, Well, gosh, that was kind of and here's another word you don't hear much, gnarly experience.
Oh, it was gnarly, yeah. I was a skater, so I know gnarly.
But then things only got worse. Do we have a sound effect?
I think we do.
Yeah, things got worse. He says, then I get a call the next morning from Mick's security team asking, do you have that laminate? Yes, I still have it. Okay, we're going to come over and pick it up. And just like that, Wilson's backstage pass went goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. That's what the article says. This is from entertainmentweekly.com. Mm-hmm. This story actually just came out on March 29th. Mm-hmm. So that's my first music story.
You remember that from Throw Mama from the Train, right? That was Danny DeVito's name, Owen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mama would say, Owen! Anyway.
Is that my soda? You drinking my soda?
It's childproof. Look out.
I'm just having a Coke for now, but we're going to be trying a beer a little later.
Yeah. A Swedish beer. We discovered recently you have to go to a certain place to get the good beer in Sweden, just in case anyone's listening from Sweden.
So when you hear this podcast, you'll have also heard, hopefully, our interview that we did today.
Mm-hmm. With Mr. Chris Clafford.
Chris Clafford.
Yes.
From Sweden.
The Viking.
Look him up. Well, actually, listen to the interview.
Yeah. Either way, look him up and listen.
So now we're going to have to make this podcast a little explicit with this one.
Fuck yeah.
So I don't know if any of our listeners have heard of a band called Steel Panther.
Oh, I thought you were saying Steel-Eyed Pan. Steel Panther. Go ahead.
Steel Panther. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like the real life Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
They dress like a 80s hair metal band. Most of their songs are raunchy and not innuendo. They
raunchy.
Tell you, very descriptive, okay?
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be quoting some of this, I assume.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
A radio station called LM Radio, they are in South Africa. Mm-hmm. They ended up playing one of the glam metal band songs. The song was Glory Hole. So here are some of the lyrics.
Yes.
Or the beginning. There's a place in France where the naked ladies dance. Okay, that's the beginning.
Yeah, and there's a reason that you're telling us all this, because we're going to hear about it, like what happened. There's an event. An event happened.
Yeah. I dare you to look up this song.
Mm-hmm. Glory
Hole, Steel Panther. But they got in kind of trouble because it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. So you picture, someone in their car.
Yeah.
And they play 70s up until now, music, mostly, I think, classic rock. This song comes on.
It's a family-friendly station, yeah.
And it's about a glory hole and not knowing who's on the other side and sucking on things.
The other side.
Yeah, that's what it says in the song.
Crazy.
Yeah. So like I said, no innuendo with these songs, but I can't imagine hearing that on the radio.
Yeah, there's probably legal consequences, I would say.
So the radio station had to issue an apology, which they've since taken down. Mm-hmm. On behalf of LM Radio, I want to apologize unreservedly for the song Glory Hole by Steel Panther that was played just after 2 p.m. yesterday. This song, together with others from Steel Panthers, they say, was inadvertently backed up onto our...
Backed up? What?
Yeah, onto our server.
Oh, okay.
Following the cyber attack on our systems earlier this year.
Yeah, it was an attack, all right.
So earlier this year, maybe they played the song before and they didn't know it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it did slip by once.
So when an hour is short scheduled, songs that they plan on, the system automatically includes songs to fill the hour. Glory Hole was unfortunately the song picked by the system. We have immediately deleted all Steel Panther songs from our server. So how many Steel Panther songs are there?
The other 7, right, that they play normally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You read this because it's a reference to potholes, right? That's what they call potholes in the highways of South Africa.
Glory holes?
Glory holes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Steel Panther, said,
Not Steel Panther. That's something different.
There's no
that's
such
something
thing.
different, Jim.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
They say we're sorry. We say you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Nice.
Have to use that in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're welcome.
So let's see what we got here.
So news from South Africa, the white part of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews was, I think, born and raised as a child in South Africa. Yeah.
I have a couple new TV shows that have to do with music. And the first one is Daisy Jones and the Six. So this was based on a 2019 novel of the same name by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's set in Los Angeles music scene in the late 1970s. And it's the rise and fall of a fictional rock band through a documentary-style series of interviews with the members and footage of concerts and recording sessions. So it's complete with vocals. The lead is Riley Keough. And Mike, I don't know if you know that name.
No, of course I don't.
Riley is the daughter of Lisa Marie Presley.
Did not even know.
Yeah. Granddaughter of Elvis. She can sing, too.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Claflin and some other guy from the Hunger Games I have here.
And the bass player for Queen.
Well, there's other people in that show, too.
Yeah.
So this premiered on March 3rd on Amazon Prime, which I have, so you have to have Amazon Prime. It's 10 episodes. I have something interesting, though, about this band, because in the show, they start out as if the band existed like 20 years ago, not like, 50 years ago, because the people would have to be in their 70s.
Yeah.
Think about it?
Yeah. And
obviously the band broke up. You get that. And then it goes into the story of how Daisy became part of this other band. And they show an album that was like, I don't know, sold millions, right? Mm-hmm. So they're making it like Spinal Tap, where it's a fictional band that they're trying to tell you existed, which really didn't.
Yeah.
This album, I listened to it, it's great. And it reminds me of Fleetwood Mac.
Well, that's
yeah. So here's an article. It's from Yahoo Entertainment. Mm-hmm. The headline is Real Fake Band Daisy Jones and the Six releases even more real fake music.
So who are these people is the question, yeah. Who are these musicians?
They are the actors from the show. Riley's singing. I did see that Jackson Browne is on one song. So they got
the Jackson Browne.
Yeah, the Jackson Browne.
That's awesome.
This article mentions A Mighty Wind, which we like.
Yes.
About folk group and the Commitments, the Monkees. Monkees started out fictional band.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a band that actually starts touring? Can they play the instruments? That's the question. Now, this is the amazing part, because I'm all into numbers.
Yes.
Their album, I think their album's name is something like Aurora, something like that. Mm-hmm. The album is out, and it is in the #1 spot on Billboard's Emerging Artist chart.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So now they say a real band 1.5 times over for some reason. So the question is, I mean, I'd go see them. I'd check them out. So it's Daisy Jones and the Six. If you have Prime, check out the TV show, but definitely check out the album, especially if you like classic rock.
Yeah, that's classic. Awesome. The singer is Riley, is that right? And how do you say her last name? Keough. Yeah. Riley Keough, yeah. I can see, I'm looking at on the internet a little bit here while we're going. And I can see Elvis. I can see a little bit of Elvis, a little bit of Lisa Marie. Yeah.
The other girl in the band is Suki Waterhouse. I was going to say Suki Stackhouse because that was the character in True Blood. Mm-hmm. And I never heard the name Suki before. She was a model, and now she is also a singer, real life.
Yeah.
So she's the other girl in this band. Now, there's another show called Up Here. Mm-hmm. It's a musical rom-com. Listeners may have heard me talk about Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Right, with great music.
Which was canceled after, I think, 2 seasons. Zoe could hear songs in her head, and then it became like a flash mob where the people around her, whether at the office, outside, were unknowingly, or maybe she was imagining them, dancing, singing. This is a little different, but it reminds me of the show, or that show. The main character has 3 people as her like subconscious.
Okay.
But you can see them.
Yeah.
She has her 2 parents and a childhood friend.
Wow. 2 parents. Like not just one, you know? Yeah. Isn't like your mom.
So the childhood friend looks like she did when she was her childhood friend, telling her what she should be doing. And this is more a musical than... There was one scene where people are dancing, but it's not like a flash mob thing going on. They'll just break out in song like a true musical. Now, this is on Hulu. It premiered March 23rd, so it's fairly new. The star is Mae Whitman, who was in a show that my wife and I watched, Good Girls. If you watch Flash, I don't watch Flash, but it's the guy, Carlos Valdez. He's the other main person in the show. This was written by... The show was created by a person who had, I don't have their names, but a person who had to do something with Evan Hansen, Broadway show.
Okay.
And also the Book of Mormon, another guy. And a woman who wrote the songs for Frozen and Frozen 2.
Yeah. So
you got a good
songwriting team.
And I have to say, some of the songs are a little hokey. But think of Broadway show. And I like a good musical. What can I say? Because I always say it would be weird, but how great would it be if you were stuck in traffic? There's a scene in La La Land, which I love.
Yeah.
And everybody gets out of their cars, they're dancing, they're singing.
Yeah.
Maybe people would be a lot nicer. And
yeah, I was watching that movie and I thought, wait, this isn't realistic. It's a musical. That's right.
I love that movie.
Yeah. La La Land is great. Looking at a picture here of Mae Whitman, and is she older than she looks? She looks pretty young. She's
probably in her 30s.
Yeah, 34. A good guess.
She's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, probably 4'3". But yeah, she looks like she's 18. I'm not just saying that to suck up to her, because she will be listening to the podcast. But
yeah, she may be.
Yeah, I'm not trying to suck up to her. Just saying, Jim. Just saying.
And Riley Keough, if you're listening, I will be meeting your grandmother soon. Priscilla.
Yeah.
Autograph show.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Hey, I've met Lisa Marie.
Hey, Grandma, how you doing?
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe if I meet Riley, it'd be the trifecta. Can't meet Elvis anymore.
No, I think you have. You have met
Sadly,
Elvis.
Lisa Marie isn't here.
Elvis has left the building.
What's next, Jim?
This is something fairly new that we've been doing, and I like to do this every podcast. Let's talk about albums that are turning 50.
Big 50.
Which are a little bit younger than we are.
Yeah, I can say that.
What I like to do is listen to an album on its anniversary or near it. Maybe these are albums that you aren't familiar with, but give them a listen. They are from, of course, 1973, and these are all from May of 73.
May's a good month.
So the first one is May 17th, 1973. We got Bachman-Turner Overdrive.
Oh, right.
Otherwise known as BTO. And it's their self-titled debut album. They're a Canadian rock band. This album was originally to be titled Brave Belt 3, following the Brave Belt 2 album made by the previous lineup of the group, which were called Brave Belt.
Brave Belt.
Yeah.
Like Brave Heart, only it's just as far as the belt.
So changing the name, they decided, let's just do a self-titled.
So this is, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet on this album? I'm wondering.
Maybe not.
Because I think we discussed this before, how that was actually a song written to mock one of the guy's brothers. We talked about that.
Oh, the stuttering.
Yeah, ain't nothing yet. Yeah, it's interesting story to that.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I know.
No, this doesn't have that song on it.
Oh, so we can skip that.
It has Blue Collar. Give Me Your Money, Please. I don't know that song.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah. Taking Care of Business was on the second one. So Ain't Seen Nothing Yet was...
We can cut all that out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we have May 18th, 1973. Do you remember that day?
No.
History of the Birds.
Okay.
Now, this isn't, a studio album, but it is a chronological, it says survey of the band's career from 65 to 71.
Uh-huh.
And it's a period when they were signed to Columbia Records. And it begins with their single, Mr. Tambourine Man. And then their final single release for the label was America's Great National Pastime. And David Crosby was in the Byrds. Next one is, this one you may not know by name, Tubular Bells. I think we may have talked about this album somehow.
I think we have in the past, yes.
Mike Oldfield, May 25th, 1973. And it's the debut studio album by English musician Mike Oldfield. It's mostly instrumental tracks. Oldfield was 19 years old when he recorded, and he played most of the instrument.
Yeah,
I can't say his
Instrument.
He played most of the instruments.
Yeah. This was at a time, the 70s, the early mid-70s, when part of pop was instrumental music. Wild instrumentals actually got in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, right along there with Rihanna and Justin Bieber is an instrumental. Like, imagine that.
Yeah, longer songs.
Yeah, longer as well, yeah.
More guitar, a lot of guitar solos. And you may recognize this if you know the movie The Exorcist.
Yes.
From December of 73. It was the opening theme used for the soundtrack.
Young Drew Barrymore, is that right? The Exorcist?
No, it was Linda Blair.
Oh, Linda Blair.
You were close.
Yeah.
Then we have one last one, Living in a Material World. And it's not Madonna. It's George Harrison.
Okay.
I don't have a date on that, but it was May 73.
Was there ever a lawsuit between the two? I mean, come on.
This was before, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, but I don't remember hearing about it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, she used that line. Now I'm thinking maybe she used that line because of this album.
Yeah.
She was a Beatles fan, maybe. If any of our listeners know, tell us.
What would Sir Paul say about Madonna? What would be his comment, you think?
Oh, this is Paul.
Yes.
Madonna, stop with the plastic surgery already. Paul, that's kind of harsh.
I know. He just comes up with the rudest things sometimes. I mean, he can sing and play well, but...
Okay, so this was George's fourth studio album, released by Apple Records. And this was the follow-up to the 1970s critically acclaimed All Things Must Pass. This album was certified gold, and just after 2 days of release, it was on its way to becoming Harrison's second #1 album in the United States. It had the song Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, and it also topped the charts in Canada, Australia, and reached #2 in Britain.
Yeah, this is the time of, in the midst of the hippie movement and peace, love, and crunchy granola, anti-Vietnam protests. Yeah, it was all pretty big here, so... People were looking for that. The general public was looking for that, looking for some peace and love in their lives.
So I have a couple new albums. Believe it or not, Dave Matthews Band.
So we're switching from years ago, switching to new stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
to now.
All right.
It's called Walk Around the Moon. 12 songs. It's about 43 minutes long. It's their 10th album.
43 minutes. That's like two songs by Dave Matthews, right?
Yeah, I think it's 3 songs. No, it's 12 songs. And it's their first album since 2018's Come Tomorrow. You know, they were releasing stuff every year, that's what it felt like, every other year. I was more into Dave Matthews years ago. I still like Dave, but I think I burnt myself out. Sometimes you can burn yourself out on music if you listen to the same band.
Yeah, I agree. It can happen.
All the time. Like, I'll still listen to the Beatles, but actually I try to listen to the Beatles every morning. But there's some songs that I've heard, how many times can you hear Yesterday?
Right. I asked Alexa, this woman that lives in my living room, I asked her, play the Beatles. I think I might have told you this, Jim. And she chose my least favorite, like 5 in a row. Yeah. Because I love the Beatles. The Beatles, great songs. I've got my top 3, my top 5 that I love. But, Alexa seems to somehow, she chose my least favorite. Yeah. Like 5 in a row. Yeah.
My tablet's hooked to her.
Oh.
And she's probably playing Beatles songs downstairs.
Because she heard that. Yes.
That would be funny.
Yeah. But I think she started. I was in a good mood until she started off with Yesterday.
She's playing your top
Yesterday.
5 least favorite ones, I think.
Yes.
So this album, Dave Matthews has started during the COVID-19 pandemic, which it's already like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And seven of the 12 tracks were played live prior to the official album announcement. You know, bands do that. They'll play, they'll work out and see the audience reaction.
Yeah, especially Dave. I can picture him doing it.
Yeah. And the song Break Free has been played going back to 2006. It says from a studio session with Mark Batson. I don't know.
I don't know him, no.
So we got Dave Matthews. And the other one, well, one I don't have on here that I listened to a couple times is Depeche Mode.
Yes, new album.
I haven't listened to Depeche Mode in a long time, since Personal Jesus came out. I love this album. It is like they haven't gone away.
Yeah, and they're touring as well. They're active.
Yeah,
not just in the studio.
It's synthesizers and just really well done songs, really appealing songs on that. The other album is a band we're going to be talking about a little later, is Sparks.
A lot of our listeners, a lot of people on the street don't know Sparks.
People on the street.
Not a common household name.
So May 26th, this comes out, and it's their 25th studio album.
All right, 25 studio albums, and listener, you don't even know who Sparks is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you will soon.
Yeah, you're going to check out Sparks after you listen to this podcast. The album, they always have interesting titles, is The Girl is Crying in Her Latte.
Huh.
Yeah. And there is a video with Cate Blanchett, the actress.
Oh.
And she's dancing in the video. Yeah, she's in a yellow suit and bright red headphones. So maybe she's listening to the song while it's playing. So check that out.
Yeah.
So those are new albums for now.
I'm listening. I'm just a little bit distracted. I got my phone on here, and like no matter what I do, I just get this picture of Mae Whitman coming up, and I think she's probably a couple more than 4'3", but So
you can't go searching anything because Mae Whitman's going to be when you go on Facebook, she's going to come up, and Instagram.
She's healthy. She looks healthy. I just want to say that.
Yeah. Now we're going to do our top 10 songs from 1983. This encompasses the whole year. Or did you have something else?
No, it's a big year. It's a big year, 1983. I know that, Jim probably was still in diapers or something, but I remember the year I was a junior in high school, and a big year for parties, a big year for learning about alternative music from our dear friend Al, who resides not far away. So close, yet so far away. Yeah, it's a big year, 83, for new music at the time.
Yeah, we were 16, 17.
Yeah,
Yeah. Having parties.
Yeah. So a lot of these don't do this at home, kids.
Punching holes in walls.
Yeah, somebody,
Someday we'll tell our party.
We can fix the walls, we can't fix the roof, right? Yeah,
I think that was the floor.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. I thought it was the roof was a different part.
We'll bring our other friend in here sometime, and he can
explain all that. Yeah. All right, so we have a top 10 list, and Jim, where does that come from? Did you make this list up? Is it your favorite?
This is a reader's poll from. This is a website that everyone should check out especially if you like 80s music. And we're not talking Bon Jovi. It's called Slicing Up Eyeballs.
Yes.
And this poll was from 2018. So they did a poll. What are your top 10 songs from 1983?
Yeah.
So the entire year.
So Slicing Up Eyeballs would be, especially someone 5 decades in, this would be like the alternative and the good music from the 80s, not John Bowie. Yeah,
they have interesting articles on there. I don't know if they interview people, but it's all 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
all
cool.
the time.
Very cool. So, Jim, you're going to take the first half. So you're taking the first half, yeah.
No, I was taking the second half.
You've got...
Yeah, but we're going bottom to top.
Oh, we're doing bottom to top.
Yeah, we do 10.
Oh, well, that would be the second half first. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go from 10 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not very big on lists. So starting off, New Order's Age of Consent. So I had, along with my Violent Femmes poster, I had a New Order poster. You know, the full size, the 20 by 30 or 26 by
36.
24 by 36. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Age of Consent. As we start this, Jim, I want the listeners to try to recognize two themes. There's two themes. It's going to be kind of obvious in the whole 10. It's just, there's a common theme.
Okay.
So, Age of Consent, I have lyrics to that song, and words like, and I'm not the kind that likes to tell you just what I want to do. I'm not the kind that needs to tell you just what you want me to. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that made all sense. I'm sure you totally understand that, you know. Yeah. So I just want to throw that out. But yeah, a lot of rhythm. Saw New Order. Saw them along with one song of the Sugar Cubes and somebody else. I don't remember. But
I was there.
Yeah, I went down to the Mann Music Center, I believe, in Philly.
Well, there was two shows, so I always get them mixed up. Mm-hmm. There were two shows at three different bands.
Right.
So the New Order one, if it was Sugar Cubes, New Order,
and
it could have been Public Image Limited.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the other one I saw was Gene Loves Jezebel, Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, I was there with that one too.
And I forget the other band.
We got there late, and so Bork is there yelling, "Cat, cat, cat!"
Yeah,
cat, cat,
the
cat.
Worst. If you don't know who the Sugar Cubes are, Bjork, the singer, came from that band, mm-hmm. and I liked odd stuff. I liked
it's great stuff.
And but Cat Cat is like their oddest song. I can't even believe they did that live, and that's the one song that we got to. Yeah, it's just her saying "Cat Cat" over and over.
Yeah. So New Order, but do you remember what was the stage was very dark? And you could tell there was some boxes and maybe instruments and maybe humans up on the stage. Mm-hmm. New Order's set was done with almost no lights. Yeah, it was so dark. Mm-hmm. And I thought,
I don't remember much from that.
Yeah, but I thought, they probably have like a lot of this recorded and they're just kind of, singing and, a lot of it was pre-programmed. Yeah.
And they're standing at the keyboard making they're playing something.
So that's Age of Consent, mm-hmm. New Order. So let's go to... Number nine. We have one of your faves on this whole list is David Bowie's Let's Dance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, Let's Dance. It's just once, if you're at a party, if you're at what we would be under 21 nightclub, when that comes on, mm-hmm. you're out on the dance floor because David himself is saying, get out on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Great tune.
That album, Modern Love, mm-hmm. China Girl.
Yeah.
And
full, rich, produced.
I won't go into the whole story, but I was in the hospital and I was going to be there, I thought, for a little while. Mm-hmm. And I asked my parents to go buy me that. It was a cassette.
Oh.
And
moving up. Yeah.
And I had my little boom box, and that's what I listened to in the hospital. And not a great time, but, not mm-hmm. great memory, but some memories, you can go back and still think about some of the outcomes, or I won't go into. I probably told people before what mm-hmm. it was, but that's okay.
But our new listeners haven't heard it. Question for the listeners. Jim, don't answer, just mm-hmm. in case you know. What instruments is David Bowie playing on Let's Dance? And another question, very similar, is what instruments does David Bowie play on that album? Mm-hmm. And do you know the answer? I'm going to give you the answer.
Okay.
It's none. So he chose to just be free, mm-hmm. him and the microphone, and dance around. Mm-hmm. He was he's free of all the technology, all the instruments, and was able to just dance about. And hence, Let's Dance. Number 8 is the Talking Heads, Burning Down the House. Yeah,
you were singing that earlier.
Yes, I was. Some lyrics from Burning Down the House. My house is out of the ordinary. That's right. Don't want to hurt nobody. Some things sure can sweep me off my feet, burning down the house. So David Byrne, we love him. Who doesn't love mm-hmm. David Byrne? I've never met a David Byrne hater. Yeah. There's songs that reference him. Crash Test Dummies song references about going out with artists. Some of you listeners might know that. One of the most played songs possibly overplayed, but not quite. But
well, I'd say up there with Psycho Killer.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of great tunes. I've always been a big Talking Heads fan, and was in 83 as well. Talking Heads, Burning Down the House.
Did you see the video with David Byrne recently? I don't know if I sent it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the dry cleaner?
Yes.
He's picking up something that he left there a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's the big suit.
It's the big suit, yeah. When he first showed into the screen, I thought it was David Byrne's grandfather or father. But it was David
white
Byrne.
Hair.
Yeah. It's a great video. Check that out. And that should have been on Music News. That is a trailer. That video is a trailer for Stop Making Sense, the movie. How many years ago?
Yeah, they're re-releasing it.
Is it 40? Be 40, I think.
Yeah, it might have been the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been the late 70s. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I think it'd be, you Talking Head fans would know. Number 7.
Mm-hmm.
We have The Cure with the Love Cats.
Not as bad as Cat.
Yeah, not like Cat.
Love Cats.
Yeah, The Cure. You and I both love The Cure, and our friend Steve. Steve, when I think of The Cure and Depeche Mode, I think of Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, if you're listening, shout out to you.
Yeah, he got me into Depeche Mode and The Cure.
I don't know how I got into it, but what we have is Love Cats, and love a lot of Cure songs, love a lot of albums. This was never one that I listened to that much, but just listening to it this week, it meant something to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just it's a very upbeat song. It's not down or low. It's very upbeat.
I don't think they broke out until Why Can't I Be You?
Yeah.
The album, what was it? Kiss Kiss? Something like that.
Right. Well, you've got
Kiss Me, something like that.
Yeah, Kiss Me, and you've got Friday, I'm in Love with You. I still hear it in a grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought there was one more right in there, but Friday, I'm in Love with You, I'm thinking 93 on
and
that one.
And The Cure is doing a tour this year. Robert Smith looks older, but he has the same hair and lipstick.
Yeah.
And you know what they say about putting lipstick on, Yeah. I don't know.
I'm wondering if our listeners get any theme yet. Maybe not, maybe so. Understanding the lyrics, and we'll go on with these, looking for these two themes with this top 10. Jim, I think we're I'm at number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Half of 10 would be 10 through 6. Okay. When you think of The Cure and Depeche Mode, you also think of Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Do you know that I remember, this goes way back, when we were into rock and roll only, and we were about 16. I remember going to Lane Co. with you, and we were looking for, you were looking for Kiss, and I was looking to see if there was waiting 8 years for the next Boston album and that kind of stuff. I remember seeing Echo and the Bunnymen. It was a pin. Remember when pins were popular?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember seeing Echo and the Bunnymen and laughing at their name and thinking how silly it was, and I didn't know who they were. And I ended up liking them just a year later. It's kind of weird. A lot of the new wave coming at me and changing from the hard rock, the Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Aerosmith and Van Halen, over to new wave. It was in that time. It was right probably around 16. And Echo and the Bunnymen was one of those bands that I made fun of their name.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't get into The Cure and Depeche Mode. It was the late 80s. Mm-hmm. So it would have been in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. And Echo and the Bunnymen, I don't know, well, it would have been 80. What song was that?
This is The Cutter.
The Cutter, yeah.
It's a great tune. It's great musically. Yeah. I tried to make sense of the lyrics. Don't know, but I love it musically, yeah.
So I don't think I discovered, what I'm trying to say is like 87, 88, I discovered Echo and the Bunnymen. Mm-hmm. So even with The Cure, Love Cats,
yeah,
I didn't hear that song until I started getting into The Cure and then listening or buying the earlier albums.
Yeah.
Because these songs they weren't mostly played on radio.
Yeah.
So that's why we like doing this list, because this is what we consider 80s.
Yeah.
Not the top 40 80s.
Yeah. It's college radio. College radio was really kicking it full force in 83, 84. Yeah. Any college radio station.
No, I was surprised. I could not find the college radio list. You think everything's on the internet? If any of our listeners know where we can access these college radio lists.
Back when we were reading Rolling Stone and Spin.
We'd have to buy some old Rolling
on the
Stones.
back page, second to last page, there would be the top 10 pop, top 10 overall or rock, and down the bottom would be the top 10 college radio lists.
We're gonna have to look for some old issues, and then we can get those lists
on paper.
Yeah. So number 5, we have REM, who I was really into, and again, probably another band I didn't get into till the late 80s. Radio Free Europe is number 5. It's their debut single.
I did not know that. Radio Free Europe was
released Now this is the thing. It was released in 1981, and it was on the short-lived independent record label Hibtone.
Never heard of Hibtone.
The single received critical acclaim. Its success earned the band a record deal with IRS Records. So REM re-recorded the song for their 1983 debut album Murmur. I'm sure you might be able to find the original song.
Murmur.
And the re-recording for IRS became the group's first charting single, of course, peaking at only number 78 on Billboard Hot 100. But the song ranked number 389 in Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time.
Wow. Which I'm surprised because, I'm just a little surprised. The REM songs that we were listening to, it wasn't exactly this one. This wasn't, the top 3. I have lyrics from Radio Free Europe. I want you listeners and Jim to just take this in, the philosophical, to the deep understanding, the life-changing words. Keep me out of country in a word. Dear, the porch is leading us absurd. Push that to the pool. This isn't nothing at all. And hence one of the themes, I'm going to give away one of the themes now, and of this whole top 10 list, and then at the end I'm going to give away the other thing.
They're silly lyrics.
They're possibly silly. They're lyrics that you just can't get it. Now,
I always thought Duran Duran was the band that just wrote, like, you couldn't tell what they were trying to say.
Right.
They just picked out words randomly, and made a sentence.
Yeah.
Now I do have a little bit on this.
Go ahead.
Michael Stipe's lyrics are hard to discern. This is from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And largely serve to give the singer something to vocalize with. So when first developing the original song, Stipe intentionally did not want the lyrics to be understood.
Oh.
He said he hadn't written any of the words yet. When the song was played live, Stipe improvised his own set of lyrics halfway through the song. And in a 1988 New Music Express interview, Stipe denied the interviewer's claim that his lyrics on Murmur were indecipherable.
Push that.
So he denied that they were indecipherable, but acknowledged that Radio Free Europe was one of the few exceptions, describing it as complete babbling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is proving the point. So one theme you see through here, I'm talking New Order, the Talking Heads, The Cure, others that you're going to mention. It's the lyrics are just mind-blowing. So why did we like it? Why were we listening to it? The music, it was fresh. It was rhythmically interesting.
Yeah.
The guitar, the grinding guitar, the synth, that just, made us feel good.
They weren't ballads. They weren't pop songs. They weren't about love or something that... it was just the feel too. The music,
cutting edge. This is the lyrics that I read. I mean, they're cutting edge because you don't know what they are.
Yeah, and it just flowed somehow, and the music was interesting too. You didn't care what they were saying,
right? Which
is a lot different than earlier when we were younger, where you would buy an actual album, vinyl, and you would lay on your bed or lay on the floor. You put the album on and you read along with the lyrics. Yeah. When this came along, this was new. This was
some sort of new wave.
Still exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're up to number 4 here.
Number 4, we got U2.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. Now, I do play this song. It's the first song of every New Year's that I play. Mm-hmm. I did find a new song. I did play this, but then there's a band which we didn't talk about in our interview, but they are a Swedish band called First Aid Kit. They actually are on one of Pink's songs on her album.
Wow.
So anyway, they have a song called New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm. That's
what I was getting at. So I found that song, and that's how I found the band after New Year's this year. Mm-hmm. Discovered that band.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the most overplayed.
Yeah, we both love U2. Mm-hmm. This is not one of my favorites, right. I'd say.
Like if I would ask that woman that stands alone in my living room, name starts with an A. If I'd ask her, she would probably play this, and then I Will Follow, and then Where the Streets, and she would probably hit those.
This is a song, if you don't really know a band, you just maybe only have heard a couple songs and, I don't like U2. Mm-hmm. Thinking they only have 2 hit songs. That's like Cheap Trick. Mm-hmm. Maybe they didn't have a lot of hit songs, but even for fans like us, this is not one, like we just said, it's not one of our favorites. Yeah, I even think when this came out, this wasn't one of my favorites on the album.
Right. Jim, I was invited at age 16, almost ready to drive my car. My coworker invited me. He said, "Hey, let's check out this band." So he turned me on to U2 in this album, which is War, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And invited me to go get tickets. And I said, no, I don't know him. And, I should have gone because I didn't see U2 then till The Unforgettable Fire, but I almost could have made it to see U2. And they were still doing, of course, still doing theaters and not stadiums, but I missed it. Mm-hmm. one of those regrets. I was 16 and working at the gas station, and Bruce said, "Let's do it," and he later took me to my first concert. But it wasn't U2, my first major label concert.
So this was the band's first UK single, peaking at number 10. It was also their first international hit, reaching number 9 in Norway, number 11 on the Dutch Top 40, and number 53 on Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. So this was before U2 broke out. Mm-hmm. I'd say their breakout was Joshua Tree.
Right. Unforgettable Fire after that just had a little bit of play, just not too much more, but a little bit more than the War album.
Yeah. So the lyric had its origins in a love song from Bono to his wife,
Allie.
But it was I'm not going to say this word.
Allie.
But it was reshaped and inspired by the Polish Solidarity movement. Mm-hmm. The bass line stemmed from bassist Adam Clayton trying to figure out the chords to the Visage song Fade to Grey during a sound check.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was number 4.
Yes.
Number 3, The Smiths.
A band I also love.
Yeah.
Yes.
This Charming Man. Now the lyrics comprise a first-person narrative in which the male protagonist punctures one of his bicycle tires.
Yes.
On a remote hillside.
Yeah, and you're picturing Morrissey in a remote hillside.
Yeah.
With a dead bicycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morrissey was the lead singer of the Smiths. If you don't know who Morrissey...
Look it up.
Look it up. So, a passing charming man. He's in a luxury car. Can you imagine? Stops to offer the cyclist a lift. Mm-hmm. And although the protagonist is at first hesitant, after much deliberation, he accepts the offer. Mm-hmm. While driving together, the pair flirt, although the protagonist finds it difficult to overcome his reluctance. Mm-hmm. Says, "I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear." And the motorist tells the cyclist, "It's gruesome that someone so handsome should care."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's poetic. That is poetic. It's gruesome that someone so handsome should care. Yeah, I like that.
Whenever I get the chance, I like to mention either Noel Gallagher or Liam Gallagher because they have such great, when they're interviewed, right? So Noel Gallagher described the first time he heard the track. He said, "The second I heard The Charming Man, everything made sense. The sound of that guitar intro was incredible."
It's very upbeat. It's the tempo is up too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The lyrics are fucking amazing too. People say Morrissey's a miserable cunt, but I knew straight away what he was all about.
Yeah, yeah. Right, that song does explain a lot. Yeah.
But the Gallagher brother, that great quoting people.
Yeah. Smiths, a song all off on its own, How Soon Is Now. Mm-hmm. You know, I would listen to it repeatedly when I was at tech school after.
Mine was Girlfriend in a Coma.
Yeah. Hang the DJ.
I gotta go back to.
Yeah.
I had that Louder Than Bombs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Morrissey's first or second solo album. I listened to that repeatedly as well, and that was
Every Day Is Sunday.
Yeah, which is not the best album on the best song on the album, but it's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Break Up the Family. It's a great tune. Check it out, Morrissey, if you haven't.
Mm-hmm. Number 2, we got Depeche Mode. Everything Counts. Now, I didn't think I knew this song, but I do know it. It talks about grabbing hands. Album's Construction Time Again. It was their third album.
Industrial Construction Time Again.
So the single introduced the transition in lyrical content for the group, because Everything Counts specifically addresses the issue of corporate greed and corruption in Britain. As the chorus sings, grabbing hands, grab all they can.
Mm-hmm. Everything counts in large amounts.
And surprisingly, the single was released at a time when the band itself was under a formal contract with Mute Records. In addition to found sounds, such as samples, the single also samples a variety of musical instruments, such as the xylophone, and I don't know if you know what a melodica is.
Huh.
Melodica, I didn't know this had a name. It's that handheld keyboard, and you blow into it.
Oh, that's a melodica, yeah. Yep. Size of a flute, like you're playing a flute, only it's, it's a keyboard. My dad had one. And I wish I knew where it was. My dad played the melodica. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he never said the word melodica, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. It was plastic.
So we have another New Order song.
Is this number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Blue Monday.
Yeah.
And if you don't know it by name, I'm sure when you hear it, it's played probably in commercials all over the place. Now, they wrote this song in the rehearsal room in Cheetham Hill, Manchester. And the synth bass line was performed on a Moog.
It's Moog, remember?
Moog, okay.
Yeah.
Moog Source, and sequenced on a sequencer built by the singer, Bernard Sumner.
Huh.
This gets a little technical, but a Oberheim DMX drum machine was used for rhythm. The kick drum was recorded playing through a studio monitor to capture the room's natural reverb.
Cool.
Now, New Order bought an early sampler, the Emulator 1, and they sampled choir sounds from Kraftwerk's Uranium.
Kraftwerk?
Yeah, they
sampled Kraftwerk for this. Unbelievable.
Now, you'll like this, Mike. Sumner and the drummer Stephen Morris learned how to use the sampler, trying it out by spending hours recording their flatulence. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm really glad that didn't make it into the song. We have an offense.
It must be the other one.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the flatulence. There it is. So, I didn't learn that before. Now, those who know New Order a little bit will know the brief version of what you just described, and that is that this song was created on the drum machine just practicing. That's the quick 5 words, but you described it very well to how they're buying the machines, the sampling, and the flatulence.
Maybe if they release an anniversary album, they'll put extra tracks. They'll have the flatulence mix on there.
And I like your use of the word release. That's good.
Yeah.
So lyrics here from Blue Monday. And how does it feel to treat me like you do when you laid your hands upon me and told me who you are? Thought I was mistaken. I thought I heard your words. Tell me, how do I feel? Tell me, how do I feel? Yeah. So very interesting. So
and we never find out.
No, we never know. By the way, Bernard Sumner, it's same last name, same surname as Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon Sumner. So we don't know many Sumners, you know?
I don't think they're brothers.
Yeah. So the themes, Jim, one of the themes is the mysterious lyrics, the eponymous lyrics. But we can't make sense of them, you know? Talking Heads, great example. New Order, great example.
So everybody has their own interpretation of what the song might mean.
And we didn't care, you know? I didn't care. I was trying to figure out what David Byrne was saying, and I told him to stop making sense. So the other theme, Jim, the other theme that goes along with all these that I saw, no songs like Yesterday on it, you know what I'm saying? They're very upbeat. You know, if you're at a nightclub, if you're at a party,
dancey.
you can't not move when Blue Monday comes on. You're going to start bopping, you know, you're going to start moving. It's just like, wow, listen to that drum machine. Listen to that, you know, because it's rapid bass. You know, it's rapid bass. And like, when do you hear that? So that's the two themes.
I don't know if people were dancing to Charming Man.
Yeah. It's upbeat. You know, it's very quick. Yeah. But maybe they were doing other things than dancing.
Maybe. Okay, so that
very good
does it for this portion of the show, and we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, bands that make us
laugh and think.
Yes.
The quirky, the weird, the quirky weirdy.
The oblique.
The eponymous.
The eponymous.
May the eponymous be upon us. So, Jim, it's good to be back.
Yeah, we are back.
Yes. Taking a little break there, a little breather.
And we're talking about bands that make us laugh.
Quirky bands.
We don't laugh like that.
Yeah. No, but, you know, we're trying to get something. Where's that? Yeah. We're going to be talking about some in depth and, you know, what it is about them.
Yeah, I have two bands and Mike has one.
And just want to name some honorable mentions just so people know, you know, what kind of stuff we're talking about.
Okay.
Violent Femmes, Crash Test Dummies, Alice Cooper, The Sugar Cubes, Incubus, Gomez, bands like that. Bands that are they're funny and philosophical. Like they can be making you think.
Yeah.
Things that make you go,
And maybe it's intentional. Maybe it's not.
Yeah. True.
Like you mentioned, Alice Cooper. There are some songs that are freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And maybe he thought it was kind of quirky writing the song or the lyrics. I'm trying to think of the one song. I think it's something like I'm an American.
Proud to be an American.
He's like, I don't have a car because I don't have a job. I don't have a girl because I don't have a car. Or something like that.
You see where that's going.
Yeah. But it's pretty funny.
It goes back down to money.
So my first band is The Presidents of the United States of America.
So it's a long title.
Yeah, I think it's one of the longest band names in the history of bands. We had the pleasure of interviewing the lead singer.
Oh, he was
very
good.
Charming fellow, Chris Ballou. They are from Seattle. Now, the group broke up first time in late 97 because Chris wanted a solo career. They then officially disbanded in 2015. We did ask Chris about if they were going to reunite. He stated, I think, about some hearing problems, or he just didn't want to do that.
He had various reasons for that. Yeah, he's continuing down a different road, without the rest of the presidents. Yeah.
So the band was formed in 93 by Chris Ballou. He actually plays bass guitar. At one point, I thought he played, lead guitar. And, of course, vocals. We've got Dave Dederer, guitar and backing vocals. And we don't know who the drummer is. Jason Finn. There we go. Now, their rise to fame came in 94 to 98. The band signed with the independent Seattle label Pop Llama Records, and they released their first, their self-titled debut. Columbia Records signed the band shortly thereafter and re-released the album, their first album, in July 95. Now, you may have heard of them. Song Lump was all over was MTV, Peaches, and Kitty. And their debut album was certified triple platinum. They had a follow-up album named Two.
Oh, that's original.
Yeah, but it didn't match the commercial success from their debut. They've also been on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, David Letterman, and we talked to Chris about Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
They turned it down.
He was invited. They were invited, excuse me. Yeah, to be on SNL, and didn't happen because he was busy.
He was about to get married. And I think he said they offered to have them married on the show, which he turned down.
You would have gone for that, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Let's cancel the venue, maybe get your money back, and get married on live TV.
Yeah, but maybe your fiance, if first wedding, maybe for her, she wants a big wedding.
She likely had it planned.
Yeah, She didn't care about TV, being on TV or anything like that. So their final album was Pure Frosting, and that was released in 1998. And that album featured 2 songs that had previously been used in a movie. And as a television show theme, they did a cover of Video Killed the Radio Star, which I don't know if most people know that was the first video MTV ever had shown. It was included on the soundtrack for The Wedding Singer and Cleveland Rocks. If you watch the Drew Carey show, it was the original song by Ian Hunter, and it became the TV show's theme song.
Yeah, that was really fitting for Drew Carey show.
Yeah. They reformed in 2000, disbanded again in 2003, and then Chris embarked on another career, but it was in music.
Yes, wait for it.
He became a children's artist under the name Casper Baby Pants. Yes.
Casper Baby Pants. Maybe some of you fathers or mothers have played Casper Baby Pants.
Maybe.
Baby Pants.
And those songs are just as good as the President's songs, too. Now, I think of the President of the United States as you can kind of compare them to Cake, even maybe Primus.
I can see that. Yeah, Cake, very, very relative to them. Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say the tongue-in-cheek song. They're just, I wouldn't even say odd lyrics, but just they're lyrics that make you think and maybe make you laugh. Like Lump. Lump is in my head. Is that...
Right.
After listening to that, going back and listening to it again, and we didn't get to ask Chris about this, but is it about a brain tumor? Or is it something more serious and he just made it into something quirky?
Yeah.
So then the band reformed in 2004, and they performed and recorded off and on until 2015. In November of 2016, Chris stated that the band had dissolved sometime in the summer of 2015. They wanted to move on, calling themselves Old People now.
Wow, yeah.
And I always think about, as you get older and you're in a band, like I think of the Stones, right? Mick Jagger being 80.
Can't believe it.
It's that band being so rich with money, maybe they have a little bit more comfort. Even the bus, than a band traveling in a van from place to place. And maybe not staying in as nice a hotels. Mick Jagger could check in the hotel. He's got his private trainer with him.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Gotta stay in shape.
I'm just thinking, because I know he's a private trainer. He's got maybe a private chef with him, right? But he also maybe gets a massage. Maybe makes it a little bit more tolerable to tour. But it's still amazing, 80 years old, still jumping around.
Yeah. Jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah. Like I said, in 2016, Chris said they were old people. That was, 7 years ago. Chris was probably, I think he's a little younger than us, so he would have been in his 40s.
Right.
This band, besides being described as alternative rock, they've been described as post-grunge.
Huh.
Although they have been fairly consistently labeled as grunge by the media, the New York Times, at the time of their debut in 1995, considered them an antidote to the misery and self-absorption of grunge. I was in the Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots. I don't think there were any like happy grunge songs. Yeah. I mean, maybe there were.
Yeah.
But it was mostly depressing.
Yeah, no apologies. You know, it's not happy-go-lucky there.
They had 6 albums in 19 years.
19 years they did that.
Their last album was 2014. Kudos to you. I like them, and I just recently, because of our interview, I listened to a lot of they might
be presidents.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of President songs, and I found new ones that I might not have heard before that I really like. But I noticed that the songs somewhat cover animals and bugs, like Kitty, Bo Weevil.
I love Kitty.
Yeah.
Kitty at my feet.
Bug City, Slow, Slow Fly. Got to listen to that one. And it is what it sounds like. It's about a fly. Mm-hmm. You know, when winter comes, they get slow. Mm-hmm. And Ladybug, there's another bug song. Women, Stranger, Jennifer's Jacket, She's a Nurse, and Caroline's Booty.
What?
With the line, something about her curves did something to my... So check that out.
Jim, that's very interesting.
If you hear sirens in the background, you know, nothing's going on here. We have the window open.
No, that's your effects machine.
Okay.
That played at a low volume.
Yeah.
So, Kitty at my feet.
Mm-hmm.
How's it go? Kitty at my feet. I want to pick him up. What is it?
Yeah, it's about a cat.
No, but do you remember how it goes?
No.
Kitty at my feet, and I want to pick him up. Repeat. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I like that. I'm a cat person.
You want to look up the lyrics?
No, it's all right.
Okay. And then
I think I got it.
And then we have Cars, Mach 5, Crown Victoria, Dune Buggy. And
did you just say Crown Victoria Dune Buggy?
That's 2 separate songs.
Oh, okay. Because that would be good as one, actually.
But I'm asking, who doesn't like a good song about a car?
Mm-hmm.
I have some favorite songs here. And Crown Victoria, great opening line to the song. And you stuck your chassis in the traffic flow. It's about a car, this is what I gather, that he rents at the airport. He just loves the car, doesn't want to hand in the keys.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an old car. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a lot of money to rent a car. He thinks it might be a police car.
Right. For those who don't know, the Crown Vic, the Crown Victoria is the quintessential cop car of probably the 80s and 90s. You know, they're onto something different now. They went through Mustangs and Broncos, but or
even the
Explorers.
70s.
Yeah.
The Blues Brothers.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure that was
70s and 80s Crown Vic. Yeah, so that's what they're writing about. But he's got a cop car that.
And he alludes to the police car with the lyrics: "Used to crumble donuts on your seats. Policemen like to eat and lick their fingers." I know that doesn't rhyme.
Yeah. Doesn't have to.
And then Stranger. That's a song about a couple women, 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
First girl's Carla. She's a stripper.
Okay.
Lyric goes, "You seem cool for a naked chick in a booth. Let's be pals someday."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would come up with that? Who would come up with "Let's be pals someday"?
This is probably one of my favorite songs. Other girl is a redhead, no name. She's behind a counter, and I think she's at has her dry cleaning with her.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of reminded me of Marcy Playground song. Next song is Some Postman. And it's about this guy sending love letters to a girl. And the mailman is intercepting them and reading them.
Oh, it's cool.
I don't know if I take it they're getting eventually to the girl. But
reading and packing back up and deliver them.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking he put some little hearts or something. And the mailman was like, "Ooh, what's..." You know, and you're not supposed to, of course, open the mail.
A package with
it's
a heart.
It's a federal offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you read one, then he sees another, and needs to know what's going on in their relationship for some reason. Next one is Jennifer's Jacket. And it's about a girl who owns a ratty jacket. Maybe it's her favorite. Maybe she's homeless.
Yeah, that's all she has.
It's left for interpretation. And, of course, I mentioned before, Slow, Slow Fly.
Mm-hmm.
It's about life of a fly and how when the colder months come, the average housefly slows down. Now, I have a little bit on a housefly here. little info.
Yeah.
Adult houseflies are affected by temperature as much as their young ones, becoming inactive when temperatures fall below 45 degrees and dying when they fall below 32.
Death at freezing.
Yeah. Because houseflies thrive in hot environments and die off in colder ones, they are generally a summertime pest, of course, rather than an autumn or winter one. Yeah, you don't see flies. That's why you don't see flies in the winter, especially when it's freezing and below.
Yeah.
So there's a little fun fact.
Yes, it is a fun fact.
So check out Presidents of the United States of America.
Yeah, you know, Jim, I'm just checking out the lyrics to Kitty.
Okay.
They're explicit. Mm-hmm. Explicit. Kitty. Little bag of bones, been out all night. It's one's petting and loving. It's rain soaked. I don't know why this is explicit. It's a kitty at my foot and I want to touch it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I did get that right.
You know, we're not talking Steel Panther here. Then, you know, things would be sticking in things and stuff.
That's true. It's true. Kitty rear end up and scratching through my jeans.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, the cats do that.
Oh, okay.
When you scratch their back,
yeah, they do.
Butts up.
The butt comes up.
Yeah.
But no, I think I have it here. It says, "Fuck you, kitty. You're going to spend the night outside." That's probably it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The F word.
Yeah. Well, Jim, that was very enlightening.
Thank you.
And you know, we all love
I try my best to read notes
on President's Day, which is in February. So next year, fellow listeners, think of the presidents of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
The presidents of the United States of America. That's a long time.
Or maybe we don't get into politics, but when the presidential debates start, I'd say mute the TV and just put them on and see what
what happens. Yeah. Oh, during the debates, is that what you're saying?
During the debates.
Okay.
Maybe you can put the closed captioning so you can put the presidents on.
Yeah.
You don't need to listen to the voices.
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything. So, They Might Be Giants. I'm going to discuss They Might Be Giants. John and John. How could you, it's not the 80s without They Might Be Giants.
Yeah.
John and John got together and were performing since 1982. And they started out as a duo, just the two of them, with a drum machine. They have a unique style that is, quote, surreal, humorous lyrics, experimental styles, and unconventional instruments, end quote. They got into a time of children's music as well. I hope to discuss that a little bit. And theme music. They have 23 studio albums.
Wow.
The Presidents had, you said 25, I think.
No, they had
What? What was it, 25?
They had 7 or 9.
What was the 25? I'm not remembering.
No, in 19 years, they had 7 albums.
Okay, I missed something there. Sorry. If you're like us and you love They Might Be Giants, you remember some of the classic early albums. And that's what we're going to focus on more. Not so much the later times in the 2000s and such. Their first album, 1986, was They Might Be Giants, self-titled. Then came Lincoln in 1988. Then Flood in 1990. Then Apollo 18 in 1992. And then the one I loved while I was in college, and that's John Henry in 1994. John Henry is kind of the pop album by U2. I love it. And most people don't. So that's, it's full, it's rich.
I think that might have been when I stopped listening to them. Might have been Apollo or John Henry.
John Henry was
what year?
1994.
Okay, because I have certain periods of time, like you probably do. I started out, like I always said, in my Bee Gees, Barry Manilow Air Supply phase.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was that 6th grade? When the heck was that? Was that before Kiss?
That was when I was 10.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I even had a Barry Manilow live album that there was a song of him doing jingles.
Oh, Mandy.
Like Dr. Pepper. Do you know he did a song? Okay, we're getting off topic, but he did a song for Dr. Pepper and he did.
I don't think jingles. I know about that. Yeah.
So anyway, and then I was into the 87, 88, into the early 90s, new wave, like Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
They Might Be Giants, stuff like that.
Wait. You're skipping over the whole rock and roll, Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah. Rock and roll came after.
Yeah.
Up until and then grunge. Totally into Nirvana, like I mentioned, Stone Temple Pilots.
That's the part I skipped over.
So this is when John Henry came out.
Yeah. So, Jim, when you first listened to music, it was Thomas Edison's cylinder, right, with a little dots on it?
He was talking to his mother. Mother, can you hear me?
Mary had a little lamb, damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, back to They Might Be Giants. Flansburgh and Linnell. Okay. Is it Linnell or Linnell? Linnell. Yeah. So Flansburgh and Linnell, the two Johns. You know, Jim, I wonder, did they get nicknames? Come on. Like, what if you and I, friends from birth, doing a podcast, what if we were in a band together for 50 years and we had the same name, Jim? I mean, come on, seriously. You'd have to have a nickname. I'm wondering if these guys have nicknames.
Well, one was tall and skinny, and the other guy was, he's probably our height. I'd say short. But...
Yo, tall guy, get over here. Take a sound check.
You know, what's it going to be like, you know? So I'm just always wondering
maybe Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello.
That's good,
right?
That's good.
Spade and Farley.
Spade and Farley. Yeah. No, I like that. I'm singing... Look at the photo right there. I'm looking at a photo, and there's definitely a Spade and Farley right there.
Yeah.
This is a photo from 2020. That's not long ago.
I had a really cool They Might Be Giants poster. It wasn't. It was probably like 12 by 18. It wasn't big, but it was a cool like photo of both of them. I think I had it over my door, and I've tried to find that poster. You think you can find anything now, but. Anyway,
not in your house. You're trying to find it. No, like I'm trying to find it, like in my basement. That's not what you're talking about.
I don't even know where I got it. It either came in one of the albums, or I used to go to record stores a lot, and they'd sell posters and stuff like that. So.
Do you know what I have in my garage? It's the hand, the big foam hand you gave me. They Might Be Giants hand.
I might have that somewhere.
Well, I have it. Did you have an extra one? You gave it to me.
Maybe
because I have it.
Yeah,
in my garage. So
that's where my hand is.
That's not my pillow. That's not a pillow. That's my hand. They Might Be Giants. The name comes from a 1971 film called
They Might Be Giants,
starring George C. Scott and Joanne Woodward. So it's taken, in turn, is taken from a Don Quixote passage about how Quixote mistook windmills for giants.
I'm pretty sure I have that poster for that movie.
No way, really?
It's one of those long posters.
Yeah,
called
really.
An Australian Daybill.
Long as in up and down or horizontal?
Up and down.
Yeah, it's unusual.
We're gonna have to put that in this room. Yeah.
It'll fit.
Yeah,
it's got. It wouldn't go right behind us here. Oh, it'll go alongside the backdrop. Back to They Might Be Giants. So. Flansburgh is on guitar and Linnell on accordion and saxophone while being accompanied by a drum machine. Now, so the drum machine, left, got put aside, got some dust after they got a band and they were doing more and more things. It's so hard to find a favorite album. Flood, yellow cover, right? Yeah, there's a people in a little boat and it's in a flood and they're getting rescued or rescuing themselves.
Yeah, the cassette.
Yeah. I think I had the cassette too. So you went on from the cylinder to reel to vinyl to cassette. Yeah, you're moving right along.
I have the insert for the cassette signed by one of them.
Very cool. Very cool.
It was John. I want to say Flansburgh when they were at City Gardens.
Yeah. So speaking of quirky, weirdy, birdhouse in your soul. I mean, how can you write that? How can you even come up with make a little birdhouse in your soul?
Yeah.
Not to put too fine a point on it. Say I'm the only bee in your bonnet. I mean, you got to love that. You have to love that. If I'm feeling down, I put that on and, I'm your only friend. I'm not your only friend, but I'm a little glowing friend. But really, I'm not actually your friend. That's pretty amazing stuff.
Do you have favorite songs?
Yeah, I don't have them listed, but...
One of my favorites is Particle Man.
Oh, yes. Particle Man.
Particle Man, Particle Man.
It'd be talking about someone who's very small. He's only the size of a particle.
Yeah.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, palindrome I. I is a palindrome. You can say it either way and it comes out I.
Yeah, Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Yeah, that's a great song too. It's very historical. It's a little education for the peoples.
Yeah, this is a band. Excuse the motor. I'm on a motorbike now. No, I'm just kidding. If there's one band I'd say out of the three we're going to talk about today, at least listen to They Might Be Giants.
You must.
Because it will make you smile. You're having a bad day, like Mike was saying. They'll pick you up. Don't Let's Start.
Oh, yes, of course.
And there's some serious song, like Your Racist Friend.
That is an excellent one to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about that. Out of nowhere, they come up with Your Racist Friend. And it is simply a narrative of going to a party, trying to have a good time, and your friend who is hosting the party has a racist friend, and they have to just listen to the BS, and it's really ruining the evening. That's pretty much what it is.
It starts out, this is where the party ends. I can't stand here listening to you and your racist friend. I know politics bore you, but I feel like a hypocrite talking to you and your racist friend.
Wow, that's so contemporary. It's so useful today.
Yeah.
Racism. Yeah. Twistin' by the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Twistin'.
That's like a 50s kind of feel.
Yeah, they just come up with this twistin'.
Whistling in the dark.
Minimum wage. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing. They would have these songs that were like 20 seconds.
Yeah, minimum wage is probably...
in. Yeah, just some guy saying minimum wage and a whip.
Yeah. So, lucky ball and chain. I lost my lucky ball and chain.
About getting married.
Yeah.
Right?
She's 5 feet tall and sick of me and all my rambling on. It's interesting. I'm married to a 5 foot tall woman, so that works.
Yeah.
Let's look at some other things They Might Be Giant did. After, you remember, Jim, after John Henry, that was Factory Showroom, 1996. And then it got into some times where I really wasn't listening too much. Long Tall Weekend, Mink Car. These are all albums.
Okay.
The Spine, The Else. Wow, that's really stretching. The Else.
Yeah.
Like the Something Else. And they had a time of doing children's music. I have one of the first ones here right in front of me. It's Why Does the Sun Shine? It's not something I'm listening to, Jim. It's not on my one of my current lists. But if you can ever find Why Does the Sun Shine, I showed you this earlier. It's a little rarity. It has the Allman Brothers, Jessica, and it's got two other greats. This is an EP. It's got two other songs, Whirlpool and Spy, and they're just excellent songs. I mean, I can't say enough how excellent they are. In fact, I don't listen to the title track, Why Does the Sun Shine?
Well, they had one on the ABCs.
Okay, yeah, that's the more popular one.
And one on Numbers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing at this outdoor festival.
In Jersey, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was something like Apple Valley. I remember it's like 90 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
There was no shade. Wow. They ran out of like Gatorade, Powerade, stuff like that. But they had, I want to say it was just 2 stages. So we brought my son. He was probably like 6, 5 maybe. And my wife and my son went to see They Might Be Giants on the one stage. And I went over to see Suzanne Vega.
Yeah.
She was there. And the Smithereens played. It's a great band to take your kids to see. Nothing offensive. And, I think at the time they were doing the children's songs too. I don't know if they still do that.
Yeah.
I think they had a deal with Disney even. Like
Didn't know that.
Big
Wow.
deal.
That's amazing.
I think so.
Yeah. Your wife just told me a story.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's about Dial a Song. They Might Be Giants, based in New York, based in the Bronx. They had where you could call up on your phone. This is before the internet and before cell phones. So you're looking for some connection with your band, right? So they had Dial a Song, and you would call in to the number and hear a song.
Yeah.
Hear a song from John and John.
Every day. I don't know I guess they were new songs or just... They couldn't have been long songs.
Yeah, it could have been old, not old, but, it could have been new or songs that they already had.
I'm on my bike again, sorry. If you hear a motorcycle in the background.
Yeah. So your wife told me that she would call up. She called up every day for a while.
Yeah.
As a teenager, right? Probably 15.
Back before cell phones, back when it was a long distance call
to the Bronx.
New Jersey.
To the Bronx.
Yeah, to the Bronx.
Yeah. She called every day for a while. So after the phone bill, this is when we used to get phone bills and look at itemized phone bills, like calls, itemized. I mean, the police do that now if there's a murder or something, but, we don't do that anymore. And her dad freaked out, right? Her dad said, what the hell are you calling? Who's calling the Bronx?
Yeah.
It cost me, I don't know how much money, right? Probably $30 or something.
Yeah, and she must have been...
She was probably
16, 17, maybe.
Yeah. So dial a song that is that was their songs put onto an answering machine. So it's, this is not high tech. It's not high fidelity, really, but it would be on an answering machine and you could hear. But Jim, back in these days before the internet, unless you went and got lucky somehow and ran into the people who were performing, you didn't get to see them. You didn't get to really hear from them. It wasn't like in this it was something special to do dial a song and be the one who's on live, and hearing it.
Now, me being an autograph collector since I was like 12, even back then, I always tried to meet the people. And I did meet. This is the thing. Mike was at this show. I don't know if he remembers. But John Linnell, the taller guy, when he came off the stage, we saw him at City Gardens. There was no backstage area. The band had to actually come through the crowd. Wait until everybody dispersed. And John Linnell looks at him and gives me the most dirtiest, look. I don't know why.
Wow.
You say you never should meet your heroes. You should never meet people that you really like because they may...
spoil all the fun.
Yeah.
It might have just been a John and John thing, but we talked about this a couple years ago. That was the loudest concert I was ever at. It was in a small area. Picture like a small gymnasium at like a middle school.
Yeah,
much smaller than that actually, wasn't it? There was bleachers. It was crazy small.
Well, the area that we were in, because there was a bar behind it. The area we were in, I would say, would be half the size of our high school gymnasium.
Yeah, it was small. It was bleachers. It was packed. And guess what? We didn't have earplugs. I was shoving a tissue in my ear while loving the song. And they did Stump the Band. Stump the Band is where They Might Be Giants in the early 90s would look for songs that are not theirs for people to call out. And someone said, Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. And I believe it was that song played on the accordion.
Yeah.
It was so good. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Sweet Emotion on the accordion and accordion lead.
But I don't know if they played at City Gardens, which was in Trenton, New Jersey, a couple times. My wife went there all the time because I don't think it was too far from where she lived. Parents didn't like her going there because it was Trenton. But there's a little fact. They had a van, and on the side of it, it said, and I saw it, They Might Be Incorporated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you had seen that van driving around, it was They Might Be Giants. Two Johns driving the van.
They Might Be Incorporated.
So my wife was good friends with the owner in that he had to be somewhere. I don't know what was going on. And he gave my wife the keys to lock up
City Gardens.
Yeah, when They Might Be Giants were there.
So, hey, be the last out.
Yeah. And my wife was a little bit angry because her car was parked at the other end of the parking lot. It was not a great town area. And they just kind of walked out and went to their van. And my wife had to walk in the dark. I don't know what she was expecting. But she kind of also knew the guys.
So she should have got a ride. Maybe she should have asked, I need a ride. Yeah.
But she hung out with them. I wouldn't say she was good friends, but whenever they came there.
You know, Jim, the band also contributed to 14 original songs for the Dunkin' Donuts ad campaign.
How many?
14.
Really?
Yeah. In 2006, America Runs on Dunkin'. Things I Like to Do, Pleather. I don't know what these are. These are like pleather. These are,
that doesn't make me think of
In 2008, Moving is a song that was played. So yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. You know, it reminds me of I don't know what album it was. I remember it being like track 13, and you let me borrow the CD. And on that track, the track is simply their personal, They Might Be Giants voicemail. And it's this man and woman calling in, and they don't know where they're calling, what they're doing.
An older couple, it sounds like.
Yeah, and she's talking, and her husband's in the background. You just picture him on the couch or recliner. And she's saying, they're saying there may be giants, And it is so funny. So on one of the albums, I don't know what's titled, but it is the voicemail.
Yeah.
Let me just finish up with They Might Be Giants. One of my favorite albums. It's her 5th studio album, and it was on American Alternative Rock charts, 1994. It's the first full album to include a full band arrangement rather than synthesized parts and program backing tracks and stuff. So full band. Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe that comes through. It's based on the fabled John Henry, but some of the tracks are just fabulous. Dirt Bike. Beware of the Dirt Bike. Starts off, though, with Subliminal. Great tune. Snail Shell, and that's about someone who's shy. An Unrelated Thing. I Should Be Allowed to Think.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
A little French. Extra Savoir-Faire. I don't think that in English we have a word for savoir-faire. Pepe Le Pew would say, "The savoir-faire, she is everywhere." Yeah, something like that. So it's... let's see, savoir-faire. It would be when I can't think of what our children's culture would say.
Maybe a feeling of love.
No. When you're strutting and you're hot and you know it.
Strutting. Someone wrote a song about that.
Yeah, strutting. There's another word for that.
Back my strut.
Savoir-faire. So he asked, what am I to do with all this extra savoir-faire? Yeah, They Might Be Giants. I know some people don't like the cover because you have an 11-year-old girl with a pickaxe, and she doesn't look very happy.
I think I might have had that. But I don't remember now.
But you know how you get into certain albums. You know how you get into certain discs, and you call it your own. So I did just that.
Yeah.
So They Might Be Giants. If you don't know them, check them out. They did so well for the late '80s and early '90s.
So my last band here is a band called Sparks.
And that's one I do not know very well.
Now, I don't know if most people know this band. Recently, there was a documentary that came out probably last year before. If you happen to see it, you might have actually thought it was a made-up band, like we talked about earlier. It's a rock duo, pop and rock, formed by brothers Ron, he's on keyboards, and Russell Mael, Mael, in Los Angeles. They're noted for their quirky approach to songwriting, but their music is often accompanied by sophisticated and forthright lyrics, often about women, sometimes containing literary or cinematic references, and with a theatrical stage presence.
And not everybody does that, the theatrical stage presence.
Yeah.
Some people just, stand there and play, like most people.
Now, Russell, this is from Wikipedia, has an extraordinary falsetto and luxurious curls.
Curls?
Yeah, hair.
Curls.
He has the full rock star look. But on the keyboards, there is his older brother, Ron. Now, I kind of compare this to like Cheap Trick in the early days. There were 4 members, of course, of Cheap Trick, where you had...
Hey kids, get off of my lawn!
Got a lot of... You probably don't hear the noises, but we do.
Yeah.
We usually don't have the window open, but it's like a sauna in here for some reason today.
We should turn the heat down. We have it cranked up to 95, just for the feel. Yeah.
Cheap Trick had... Robin Zander and Tom Peterson. They were back in the 70s, 80s. They were like the pretty boys, In fact, on one album, they're on the front. They're on motorcycles. And Rick Nielsen and Bunny Carlos are on the back on scooters. Like them, Sparks, the one brother, is the rock star kind of look. The other brother, Ron, the not so good looking one.
Oh, that's hard. That's harsh.
Yeah. He's described as looking like your 5th grade math teacher or biology teacher. He's described as having a chilling demonic stare and a Charlie Chaplin mustache. Some people will claim it's someone else's mustache, which he still has, that type of mustache. Actually, that was from an article in 2017 from The Independent.
That's not that long ago. Yeah.
So this is from The Independent. Ron says, I say Charlie Chaplin mustache. Ron tells the author that he was an avid fan of silent films and thought of it as either Charlie Chaplin or Oliver Hardy. And it says, alas, not everyone saw it that way. A French TV station thought it as a Hitler mustache and actually banned the band. Said, yes, it did have some unfortunate byproducts along the way, so I rethought my facial hair direction. I changed the mustache a bit, and it morphed into different things. That's what he says. Yeah.
Got a photo of it here.
Mike's show me.
Yeah, it's off the internet, and it's a little scary, but yeah, let's see what it's like.
So they grew up in Pacific Palisades in West Los Angeles, California, and much of their inspiration came from their father, taking them to the cinema as children. They developed an interest in film, visual arts, and narrative. Father was a graphic designer and caricaturist for the Hollywood Citizen News. So it sounds like the father had a great creative side to him, maybe a fun side. They both attended UCLA. Ron studied cinema, graphic arts, Russell theater arts, and filmmaking. They detested the folk music scene.
Wow.
They considered cerebral and sedate. And he said, we had no time for that.
Yeah. So, you mentioned the folk movement. It looks like they might have started all their musical things back in 1971. I mean, that's a while ago for a band that, keeps going. So the folk scene, they detested the folk scene.
They actually started in 1968.
Yeah.
As a band called Half Nelson. Of course, named after the wrestling hold.
Yeah. And
they soon came to the attention of producer Todd Rundgren. In 1972, they became known as Sparks, and it was a play on the Marx Brothers.
Sparks Brothers?
Yeah. They actually relocated to England in 73 with a new manager, and they had a deal with Island Records. They soon placed an ad in Music Weekly, Melody Maker, and that they wanted a bass player for Sparks. Must be beard-free and exciting.
Beard-free and exciting.
Yeah.
Well, exciting. I don't know that, responding to that ad and asking that by two men that you need to be exciting.
That could encompass.
Yeah, Jim, I've got a later photo of him, and tell me who. I'm not going to mention it. Tell me who you think that looks like. My God, it looks like Salvador Dali.
Oh yeah, Salvador Dali.
Yeah. My God, look at it. It's crazy.
So they hired bass player Martin Gordon, Adrian Fisher on guitar, Norman Dinky Diamond on drums. Yeah. And they recorded their breakthrough, Kimono My House.
My House.
Yeah. In 1974, they had a number 2 UK hit with the single, This Town Ain't Big Enough for Both of Us.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
UK number 2.
I'll
have to look
right off the bat. They returned home in 1976 to Los Angeles. They were concerned their music may have become stale already, I guess.
Oh, wow. I don't know how it could.
And they adopted a more American sound. And the same year, they got into the movie business, making a cameo appearance in the disaster suspense film Roller Coaster. And it says after Kiss turned down the roles.
No way.
Yeah.
Kiss turned down being in the movie Roller Coaster.
That might have been after their Phantom of the Park, where that was at an amusement park. So they're like, hey, we got to get Kiss.
Yeah.
Roller
Coaster. I can see that happening.
Yeah. In 1980, Paul McCartney. Did you see Paul? No, Paul. We're fine.
Yes, please. Jim's talking.
He gave a nod to the band in the music video for Coming Up, in which he appeared mimicking Ron Mayle on keyboards.
Gotta look for it.
With the mustache and everything.
Yeah.
Now, the song I Predict was their first appearance on the Billboard 100, and it reached number 60. That was May 1982. 1983, I remember this song. This may be the first time I heard of Sparks.
Yeah, probably likely me as well.
Didn't know, but with this song I'm going to mention, Didn't know it was Sparks. Maybe didn't know who it was. It was a song called Cool Places. And it was with the Go-Go's rhythm guitarist and vocalist Jane Wiedlin. Because I liked the Go-Go's at the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably like, okay, she's singing with some other guy. And that was their second single to be on the Billboard.
I do know that song. It's one of the few songs that I know by Sparks. Yeah, Cool Places.
I want to go Cool Places with you.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to 2002, the band switched to a classically influenced art pop style with the release of their album Little Beethoven. They replaced the beat-driven synth pop of their previous albums with complex orchestral arrangements. Mm-hmm. And the band acknowledged this change in style on the album's opening track, The Rhythm Thief. This is amazing to me, is May, the months of May and June 2008. Mm-hmm. They did a 21-night Sparks Spectacular in London, 21 nights in a row, where they played each of their albums in chronological order during the first 20 nights. On the 21st night, they premiered their new album.
Wow, that's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot to do.
I mean, how many songs? It's going to be over 200.
Yeah.
And fans who bought a golden ticket, referring to, of course, Willy Wonka,
the golden ticket,
allowed entry into all 21 gigs. Cool. They also received a poster signed by the band and a CD single, which was entitled Islington N1, and it was a reference to the postal address of the venue for the first 20 gigs. And 2014 was 40th anniversary of Kimono My House. The landmark was celebrated with a performance of the album in its entirety, and that was in London, December 19th and 20th. And they had a 35-piece orchestra.
Nice.
With them. Here's someone we mentioned before who mentions that Kimono My House as one of the records that changed her life, and it's Björk. She said, Sparks were exotic. They were the most refreshing thing in my life when she was 8. I love the way Russell Mael sung like a geisha, and that they were into wearing geisha clothes, as I was really into Japanese people.
Yeah, yeah.
They were wearing, geisha dresses on the album.
So I'm wondering how she got the video and what she was watching at the time, at age 8 up there. How did she see that? Because, we didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
And like I mentioned before, they have a new album coming out. What'd I say it was? Their 26th? Something like that.
So many.
Well, their 24th was in 2020. Yeah, so it has to be like 26th. So here are some songs these are my picks that you should give a listen to. First one is Lighten Up Marcy. We got a lot of, connections in this podcast, the different things.
Yeah.
So the man in the song meets a girl who has high expectations and compares all men to Morrissey.
Really?
Yeah. Here's some lyrics.
Yeah, I originally thought you said Marcy as in M-A-R-C-Y, like Marcy Playground.
Morrissey, the singer.
Yeah, gotcha. Lighten up, Morrissey.
Yeah. So here's a lyric. I got comparisons coming out my ears, and she never can hit the pause. If only Morrissey weren't so Morrissey-esque, she might overlook all my flaws. Morrissey also named Kimono My House as one of his favorite LPs of all time. Next song is Balls.
Okay.
Simply Balls.
Yeah, I could probably see where that's going, yeah.
About having the balls to do certain things.
Cojones, the kimonos.
Yeah.
I mean, cojones.
Yeah. Next song is Dick Around. I love this song. It's about just having stuff to do and, you're just hesitate. I mean, it's my favorite thing to do is to not try not to do anything, even when I have stuff to do. When you have stuff to do and you just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And then Mickey Mouse. That might be one of the first songs I've heard. Again, our friend Al, I know he was in the Sparks. This is off the album Angst in My Pants. They have some great titles.
Yeah, I want to say Angst in My Pangst. I always want to say that, make it rhyme, but it doesn't.
Album cover, Russell is in a suit and Ron is wearing a wedding dress.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
There's another album cover, I don't know the title of the album, but they're in a speedboat and they're gagged and like their hands are tied.
They're kidnapped,
yeah.
In a speedboat. Yeah, out of here.
So it's probably the whole cinematic movie kind of creating an illusion of something. Mm-hmm. So that was my second and last band.
Yeah, so we've got Sparks, They Might Be Giants.
And Presidents of the United States.
Of America. The Presidents of the United States of America. I like to say the full name. Yeah. Well, it's been a great time spending the time with you, the listeners, and we thank you for your time.
Yeah, and Mike will be, like I've said before, Mike will be back probably in a couple months or so. And then, Jeremy's going to be back. Gave him the month off. But we thank you for listening. And again, if you want to email us, if you're in a band, you have a song, album from the last year or two, you want to send us a file of your song, a link, listen to it, maybe we'll talk about you.
Yeah.
And it's nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about you.
Yeah.
And don't miss all the great interviews that we have done in recent years, in recent months.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think we've done over 40 some interviews. So thanks for listening, and you'll hear us later.
Yeah, right.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Intro and exit music by the band 99%. Today's show was produced and edited by Jim Thatcher and recorded at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.
I'm Jim, he's Mike. No, I'm kidding.